Okay, welcome. Apologies for the delay on the video. I was busy being the worst, most unproductive human of all time. Please unsubscribe to make me feel better. Anyway, full disclosure, my trip to the Destiny 2 reveal in LA was covered in full by Activision, so a huge thank you to them. And also, we're still about 3 months from the release of Destiny 2, so everything in this video is subject to change. Wow, I feel like Dado all of a sudden. Is this what Dado feels like? So for context, I have almost 2,000 hours in Destiny with over 4,200 Crucible games played and a lifetime KD of exactly 2.0 averaged across 3 characters. I love PvP. It's my thing. So after playing Destiny 2's PvP for a few hours in LA, I'm absolutely ready to talk about it. And I'll be honest, coming away from the event, my reaction was mixed. Tons of small quality of life and balance changes leading me in a positive direction, but some big macro level disappointments had me worried, really worried. Only 30 FPS on console and no dedicated servers for either console or PC. No announcement of a ranked competitive PvP playlist. I was conflicted. And initially this video was going to be both my positive and negative feedback in regards to the Crucible. But after scripting out everything I wanted to say and reflecting, I realized in order to do justice to my concerns, they needed their own video. And I just don't see many other creators hitting you with this kind of feedback in the wake of the most hyped gameplay reveal of 2017. So get ready for some real talk, and remember, I criticized this game as an absolute superfan. I only want Destiny to reach its full potential and become one of the best games of this generation. Now, despite this video being only criticism, I'm actually more excited than I am worried about the future of Destiny 2. And again, I'm only talking about the PvP side of things here. The PvE looks fantastic. They crushed it because of course they did. So with every possible disclaimer out of the way, let's start with my first concern. Consoles are locked at 30 FPS. Here's what Luke Smith had to say about that. Quote, "The PS4 Pro is super powerful, but it couldn't run our game at 60. There's just not enough horsepower there yet." And then Mark Noseworthy adds, "There's tons of GPU power in the PS4 Pro, and that's why there's 4K resolution. The problem is the CPU side, in regards to the FPS, that is." So there you have it. I guess it was just a hardware limitation and not a design choice. But I couldn't help but think about games of the recent past. Battlefield 1. Released October last year, campaign 60 FPS on consoles and PvP 45 FPS. To achieve this, the game uses a technology called dynamic resolution scaling that adjusts the game resolution depending on the intensity of what's happening on screen. So under normal load, the PS4 version of Battlefield 1 outputs at around 1000p, just shy of 1080p, falling to 900p during heavy load to maintain the frame rate. Overwatch came out a year ago on console and with dynamic resolution scaling is also able to hit a constant 60 FPS at a native 1080p. Finally, Halo 5 came out 18 months ago and runs at 60 FPS throughout its campaign and even during its PvEP game mode Warzone that has 24 players per server, tons of vehicles, AI, and huge maps. How, you ask? The same technology that's been around for years now, dynamic resolution scaling. So I guess what I'm asking is, was it objectively impossible to achieve 60 FPS on consoles, or was it not financially viable to make the necessary adjustments to an engine that wasn't designed with dynamic resolution scaling in mind? And this isn't an attack on Bungie in any way. It's just me holding them to the highest standard possible as a passionate Destiny fan. And at the end of the day, I think I'm in the minority of console players who care at all about frame rate. And to be honest, this discussion is irrelevant when you realize FPS is uncapped on PC. And after playing Destiny at 60, I assure you that's where I'll be. I only hope that the community is there as well. My second and biggest concern is no dedicated servers for console or PC. Here's what Luke had to say about that. Quote, "It's just not an investment that we made for Destiny 2. We're going to rechange the parameters for matchmaking to refocus on connection quality." End quote. So not even really a hint of an explanation as to why Bungie made this decision. Maybe they did the numbers and realized that no dedicated servers just wasn't a big enough deal to stop people from buying the game. After all, we've been playing Destiny 1 on the inferior peer-to-peer connection-based system for 3 years now. Well, to a degree, they're right. I'll still be buying Destiny 2 and undoubtedly having the time of my life. But let's look at a relevant case study from this year. For Honor, a great PvP-focused hack-and-slash fighting game developed and published by Ubisoft. Ubisoft chose to go for a peer-to-peer connection over dedicated servers. And initial sales were great. Steam shows 45,000 concurrent players at launch. But only 2 months later, it had gone from 45,000 players to 5,000. And on Twitch right now, there are less than 1,000 concurrent viewers. And the biggest factor that every forum post and article seem to have in common in regards to For Honor's failure is the connection problems. Ubisoft cut corners with the multiplayer infrastructure in the short term, and it quickly caught up with them. Now, Destiny 2 obviously won't have this problem because here we are 3 years later with over 31,000 Guardians playing a game of Crucible in the past 24 hours, according to Guardian.gg. I'm just worried Destiny 2 will be held back from being the competitive PvP giant akin to Overwatch and CSGO that I know it easily could be. And by the way, Battlefield 1, dedicated servers, Overwatch, dedicated servers, and Halo 5, you guessed it, dedicated servers. Now, Lucas said that it's been easier for them to find tighter matches because of the smaller 4v4 format. And I think he's referring to both connection quality and appropriate skill levels here. Maybe just connection quality. But I'm not super optimistic about this because even in 3v3 game modes in Destiny 1, example Trials, the connections can still be garbage. But I'm hoping with the refocusing on connection-based matchmaking plus the much larger player pool that will come with Destiny 2 that this issue will be resolved. I guess only time will tell. My final concern about Destiny 2's PvP is the lack of a competitive playlist or ranked mode. Now that's assuming there won't be a competitive playlist announced, which I highly doubt. They've made so many balance changes in the direction of a more competitive Crucible that I would be very surprised if they didn't announce a ranked PvP mode either at E3 around the time they talk about Trials or with the launch of the first DLC. And upon reflection, I actually think it makes sense not to have a ranked PvP playlist at launch. You don't really need it. Remember when Overwatch first came out? Competitive didn't come out on PC for the first 2 months, which I think is fine. Give people a chance to get used to the game and experience everything it has to offer in their own time before you rush them towards competitive. However, if there's no ranked playlist, I think it's a huge missed opportunity and another nail in the coffin of Destiny's PvP not being taken seriously. So that's 90% of my concern for Destiny 2's Crucible. Thank you for allowing me to just get that off my chest. And Bungie and Activision, please don't hit your boy with that crispy blacklist. My next video is going to be way more positive. I promise I am actually excited overall for Destiny 2. Also, a huge thank you to my kind, generous, super sexy patrons on the screen right now. Your continual support is allowing me to keep making content and be able to afford rent despite the YouTube adpocalypse. I appreciate you guys so much. I can even afford to go to Guardian Con in a few weeks solely off the back of your generosity, so I can't thank you enough. And finally, welcome to a little mini segment I like to call the Patreon Shoutout, where I take one of my patrons, check out their YouTube channel, give them some feedback on how they can improve, and ultimately give them a shout out in a video. Hashtag sellout, hashtag not a big deal. So today's shout out is going to JP. Here's a young guy, only 15, has almost 2,000 subs, and makes great Destiny videos. And I'm not just saying that. I was actually astounded at how good his videos were. Like, they are so much better than my videos were at his size. So consider checking him out. His link will be in the description. Tell him I sent you and give him some feedback in the comments so he can improve. Here in the Destiny community, we support growing YouTubers. There was a time back in the day when I had less than 2,000 subs, and I had kind people like Mtashed and KJ Hovey come around me, and look at us now. So yeah, do that thing, check him out, that'd be great, thanks. Anyway, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I'm saying that so that you guys can actually hold me accountable. I'm the Jez, God bless. You're super cute. Destiny 2 hype, baby, oh yeah.